I gotta say, I did pretty good when we built this thing. Crowning this off like I did here, it's muddy as all get out there, but it's still just as dry. See the dust rising up there? It's just as dry as can be in here. Even back here where she's pulled the wood chips away for her big old nest, it's still dry. Ain't that right, big girl? See the dust coming off of her? She's a dry girl in a muddy world. I just got through feeding them. Now she's pushed some of this out here, but that's fine. I plan on bringing some more wood chips up here and kind of just loading this area up. You can see how muddy it is. So it's done. Hey, it worked. I can't complain. I'm noticing those gaps are starting to really show in here because as the wood's starting to season out, see those gaps are a little bit more prominent. And that's fine. I mean, for the most part, the majority of the wind she's protected from in here. That's a good gap. Jeez whiz. But she's a big old girl. She got plenty of nesting material and she got plenty of insulation, let me tell you. So she's good to go. And you can see that definitely the difference. It's wet and muddy all the way around. And dry as a bone in there. That's my hand from petting her. Where she's all dry and dusty. All right, so within the last week, I was catching up on my subscriptions on YouTube and was watching Josh from Stony Ridge Farms. And I don't know if you guys ever watched his videos. I like Josh. He's a good guy. Seems to be. I never met him personally. He was at the conference I was at, the Homesteading-ish conference last year, and I didn't get a chance to introduce myself and meet him. A lot of people tend to just overdo things like that. I don't want to feel like I'm another person to some people. But anyways, he's a single guy. He's a registered nurse, and he does YouTube pretty much full time now from his farm down in North Carolina. And Josh just revealed that he's got alpha-gal syndrome from a tick bite, and it's pretty much really taking a big toll on his health. And I think he's got 150 acres down there. Beautiful farm. The man has done tons of work. I followed him through the years. He's done tons of work on that farm. And it's like every video, he's always doing something. Welcome to farm life. We're always doing something here. But Josh just said in the video I watched that he's going to sell his farm. So he's going to buy a little 11-acre homestead there, just not too far from where he's currently at. But the amount of money that he's putting out every year just in fertilizing his fields, I think he said something like $20,000 a year just in nitrogen, which is just, chicken waste on his fields and everything like that. 10,000 here to 5,000 there, 10,000 here. I understand that. It gets expensive. It really does. The tax breaks are okay. They kind of help offset a little bit of the bite, but for the most part, you're still spending that money and you're not recouping all of it back. He just sold off his cows. I think he had 55 head of cattle. Hey, I'm right there with you, buddy. I understand. So, our health, I think Josh is like 48 or 49, I think is what he said. I'm 54. And, with the effects on his health and everything, that's been a big determining factor in his decisions there. And that's where we're at. Because I want to live my life. I don't want to have to get up every day and have another project on top of another project that has to be done. I mean, if we were to go as the scale that I was envisioning here, I mean, you're talking daily moves on cattle, daily moves on sheep, water every day, make sure they got feed every day, over winter, infrastructure repairs, upkeep, building more and more infrastructure, and not to mention the cost of the fence it would take to fence this place. I mean, we're talking close to $30,000 if I remember correct, that we would have to come up with. And if I remember right, I think the split with like the USDA and the local conservation district was like maybe an 80-20. So we're still eating a lot of that cost. And like they pay 80%, you get stuck with 20%, but you still have to put the money up front. And the more I got to thinking about it, we put all that money, take out of my retirement now. borrow against my retirement, spend that money, get that fence built. They reimburse us X amount of that. And, you know, even though I'm repaying it with a low interest rate, a lot of it is missing out on what I'm gaining currently in my retirement. So probably wouldn't have been, it's not the worst decision in the world, but I can make smarter decisions with it. And when I retire, I don't want to be tied down. I really don't. I'm a homebody. I really am. I love being home. I prefer to be home, to be honest with you. But I do like to take a vacation every once in a while. Daggone branch. Got some weeds laying down on this fence here. And I don't want that leash. Does that make sense? I don't want that leash. I'm 5.5 years from retirement. And when I don't have to go in to work every day, I want to be able to decide what my day is going to be, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to spend it. If I want to take off and go somewhere and not have to make sure I'm not going for the full day and come home to do a lot of work. You know what I mean? To maintain animals and everything. Now we've got 60 chickens coming in March, meat birds, and I think we got another 60 coming in July. I may forgo that July order, just do the 60 in May. I don't know how many we'll end up selling. I don't know how many people will want chickens at that point, but I also don't want to be tied again to that all summer. So yeah, scaling back I think is the right thing to do. Not an easy decision, like I said, but it wasn't a hard decision either. Dang, I have to get out here and weed whack all this in December. And I truly think if I'd have started this back 30 years ago, when I was a young man, I would probably be scaling back at this point. The effects of my joints and looking towards a potential future of having to have knee replacements and stuff, so I really don't want to have. If I can offset at least a few years of damage, I think I'm going to go that route. So yeah, we're scaling back. Going to scale way back and not go forward with much more than what we've already got. I don't even know if I'm going to breed and raise any more pigs, to be honest with you. At this point, maybe not. It's a toss-up, and I can't commit to anything at this point. Chickens are fairly easy. They do require you to take care of them every day, but those are short term. 8 weeks, 9 weeks tops, you're done. And then until the next batch comes, and then you get into that cycle, and the next batch, and the next batch, and the next batch. No, that's not for me. That's not going to be for me. We can raise what we want to eat, do it in little batches like that. I mean, even if we were to get lambs, what, 8-9 months, and then you can process them and have your lamb for the year. We may do that. Like I said, there's just a lot of maybes, possibilities, and probably more of, nah, we're not going to do it. So, you know, we've still got the greenhouse. We're not going to get rid of the greenhouse, obviously. Still going to use it. We're going to make a bunch of changes in it this year. We can still grow our own veggies. We still have the rabbits. But I don't think I'm going to go any farther with them. We got egg chickens. We get eggs. And I got a local butcher right across the hollow here. If I want to buy local food, I can go right down there and buy local raised animals. It's no big deal. But for the most part, yeah, I was 100%, I was 1,000% committed into doing all this, but reality of life, reality of experiences, and the reality of reality will definitely smack you in the head and say, hey, dummy, you probably ought to cut back a little bit. You're not the spring chicken you once were. So, no, I'm not going to grow old gracefully, and I'm not going to fade off into obscurity. But I do want that freedom of looking at my wife and say, you know what? I think we should go somewhere for a week, or I think we should go somewhere for a weekend. And when that point in time comes, finding a reliable, trustworthy person to come up here and take care of our farm, take care of our animals and stuff like that. I mean, by the time I retire, my oldest will have graduated high school. Hopefully he'll be in a trade or school or in college. My youngest, she's 3 years behind him. She's very self-sufficient at this point anyway. But I want my kids to live a life that they choose, with our influence in making good decisions, and making good career goals and everything like that. But I also don't want them tied down and grow to resent being left with responsibilities of a farm that they like the animals, but as far as a true farm life, I don't want them kind of feeling like they're stuck into that. And then everything that I did to build a big farm is just kind of left to the wayside. And I don't want to put all, like as I said, I didn't want to put all that money and effort into a fence. And we're just scaling back. We're going more homestead level. We'll grow our veggies. We still got our orchard. We still got our berry patch. I got a bunch of trees to cut out this year, and I got a bunch of home projects I need to get done. And unfortunately, we've put them to the wayside. They kept getting pushed farther and farther down the list of need to do's, and not want to do's, need to do's. And I'm not going to do that anymore. So when I leave this world, I don't want to leave a bunch of burdens on people. And I don't want to leave this world with my hands full. I want to leave this world with my heart and my soul full. That's the key. So, yep, it was the right decision. And as much as my mind tells me, oh man, really, I wanted to do that, my heart's telling me, you want to do that. So, that's where we're going. Stick with us. I appreciate the subscribers. I appreciate your comments and your feedback. Stay with us. You never know what's going to pop up next, but I can tell you it's going to be smaller scale, and hopefully a lot more enjoyable. Because coming out here every day, just one thing after another, more stuff to maintain. I'm not going to live that life. Get and stay prepared. Stay free. God bless y'all.